Hi everyone again. I'm explaining the third part of the ninth grade manual. It's manual. We are on page 11. That's where we left off. Page 11 talks about inferences and drawing conclusions. Inference, the word in Spanish is inferencia. If you're not sure what that means, look it up. Basically, cuando tú infieres algo es que te dan un poco de información y tú infieres el resto, ¿ok? Por ejemplo, si tú ves que tu mamá está barriendo, pues tú infieres que posiblemente algo se cayó en la cocina. That is basically what inferring means. I'm going to read the definition, but I'm going to go over it very fast. Okay? Making an inference is the process of figuring out missing information from the information that is included. Inferences can be made with pictures, with characters, with plot, with the setting, and even with the vocabulary. Obviously in a story, okay? To infer is the thinking process of reading between the lines, leer entre las líneas, okay? And then later on it talks about conclusions. Uno llega a una conclusión, lo mismo, conclusion. Conclusions are the judgment or decisions reached based on information learned, okay? So if you see somebody in the hospital, you can infer that that person is sick, and you can get to the conclusion that maybe that person may get better or maybe not, depending. And it gives you an example of an inference, okay? It says Norman sees cookie crumbs on the floor and chocolate around his son's mouth. Norman can infer that his son got into the cookie jar, ¿verdad? Because he had cookies all over his face. Okay? So basically that is inference and conclusion, okay? You infer something, and after you infer that, you get to a conclusion, okay? If you see a car crash, if you hear the sound of a car crash, you can infer that there was a car accident. Basically that's what a conclusion is, okay? But they're similar, but they're not exactly the same, because you make conclusions from inferences, okay? For example, it gives you examples of inferences. It says, a character that has a diaper in her hand, spit up on her shirt, and a bottle warming on the counter, you can infer that this character is the mother, ¿verdad? Podemos inferir que ese personaje es una mamá. Eso es una inferencia, okay? Alright? What else? If you see a person crying after the teacher gives him or her a test, then you can infer that that person probably got a bad grade on the test, okay? So you have to identify the inferences in the next exercise. It gives you an exercise on page 13, okay? And then page 14 talks about something else. It talks about connotaciones, ¿verdad? Lo mismo en español. Connotations and technical meanings of words. It says, a connotation refers to the meaning that is implied by a word, apart from the thing which it describes explicitly. Words carry cultural and emotional associations or meanings, in addition to their literal meanings or denotations. For example, connotation, ahí hay un ejemplo. It says Wall Street. Wall Street literally means a street situated in Lower Manhattan, but you know that it refers to wealth and power, because Wall Street is a place that you know that has to do with money and power and all that. If you say a person is a dog, for example, you're saying that the person is ugly, shameless, okay? And it also gives you the example that says that woman is a dove at heart. If somebody tells you a person is a dove, you know that that person is a really nice person, okay? And it also gives you like a little list of negative connotations, neutral connotations, positive connotation. But for example, positive one would be a courageous woman. Courageous means que es una persona brave. ¿Cómo se dice brave? Courageous. Ay, ahora mismo no me viene la palabra a la mente. Courageous. Dios mío, estoy pensando en inglés nomás. Courageous es que tiene valentía. Una persona que tiene valentía, ¿verdad? Entonces también te dice connotaciones negativas, negative connotation. Por ejemplo, alguien dice, I'm fine. No, that person is not fine, okay? That has a negative connotation. O sea, como que literally, no, not fine, okay? It means the opposite. That is what connotation means, okay? So you have to figure out in this exercise which connotations are positive, negative, and all of that, okay? And page 15 works with connotations. Page 16 as well. I'm watching the pages, 17. and 18. Okay? I am going to make another video because I have to talk about relevant and irrelevant information and about elements of poetry, which is the next topic on page 19. So I'm going to have to make a 5th part. So I'm sorry, but I have to go on.